SAfm, South Africa's news and information leader.
Thanks, Kim. A guilty verdict for parents who beat their baby to death, and a Hong Kong judge orders the eviction of Occupy movement protesters. That's in the news. Good afternoon. The parents who allegedly beat their 2-month-old baby Wade to death have been found guilty of murder in the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria. Judge Cynthia Pretorius found that baby Wade was only in the care of his mother, Marissa Rudman, and father, Nolan Skuman, before his death. The court earlier heard medical evidence that baby Wade had such severe injuries that his skull was coming apart. The judge accepted the evidence of the 2 doctors who testified about the injuries. The 11th accused in the Boeremark treason trial in North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, Dirk Hanekom, has been found guilty of treason. Hanekom is one of 20 men accused of plans to overthrow the government. Sandra Delanga reports.
Judge Eben Jordan found Hanekom played an active role in the planning of the coup. Jordan also found Hanekom was one of the co-writers of the so-called Blue Letters, which included a declaration of war against the South African government and the summoning of troops to the Boeremark army. He rejected Hanekom's version that he tried to convince his leader, Tom Foster, that his plans were not viable. Meanwhile, the judge started with a summary of evidence led against accused number 13 in the trial, led Pretorius. Sandra Delanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
Former Police Commissioner Bheki Cele will only challenge his expulsion in the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria once all the respondents have filed their documents. The respondents include President Jacob Zuma, Police Minister Nathi Mthethwa, and Cele's successor, General Ria Piecha. Cele is contesting the findings of the report used to fire him. SAfm Mkiza reports.
It is not clear when exactly the respondents will file their documents, but they were granted an extension until end of business today. Once the papers are filed, a court date will be set for the matter to be heard. Cele filed papers in the court last month calling for a review of the finding by the Board of Inquiry headed by Judge Jack Moloi. In the papers, Cele described Moloi's report as biased and his public comments as judicially unethical. Moloi and the other board members declined to oppose Cele's bid and said they will abide by the court's decision.
The Western Cape High Court has ruled that the alleged killer of honeymoon bride Annie Dewani is fit to stand trial. Xolile Mngeni is currently receiving treatment for a brain tumor. In a plea agreement last week, Mngeni's co-accused Mzwamadoda Kwabe said Mngeni pulled the trigger. Dewani's body was found in a shuttle taxi in Khayelitsha in November 2010. Veld fires have wreaked havoc in a number of provinces around the country. The fire started at the weekend following freezing temperatures last week. Rulani Paloi has more.
Firefighting organization Working on Fire says they have now managed to curb over 15 fires that occurred over the weekend in the province. One farmer lost his life. The organization says in Mpumalanga their teams extinguished 24 fires over the weekend. Thousands of hectares of grazing land has been damaged by almost 20 fires in the Free State. The towns that were worst affected are Memel and Diversdorp. In the Eastern Cape, raging fires have destroyed homes and left many homeless, especially around the Transkei region. Rulani Baloi, SABC News.
Overseas, a judge in Hong Kong has ordered the last remaining protesters of the Occupy movement to be evicted from their camp in the city centre. Hundreds of anti-capitalist activists set up the camp last year outside the headquarters of HSBC.